So I need to talk in this, or this just picks up?
Oh, it's gonna pick up.
Okay.
You know, you're loud talking as well, so.
Try to use my deep voice.
Your sensual voice.
My deep voice.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
In the words of Kwame Brown, use your "I'm a man" voice.
You said I'm a man.
Have you seen that stuff with him,
No.
Kwame Brown? Oh, it's the best stuff ever. Oh, it's the best stuff ever.
No, I don't know who that is. I'm late.
I give you a little So in 2002, he was the number one pick in the NBA draft by Michael Jordan. So it didn't quite go well. Some people say, Jordan bullied him and things like that, but like everybody in the media was all on Jordan's side. So they went out there and it's like worst person, worst basketball player ever. Like Kwame's a bust. He's a this, he's a that. And of course he knows he can't go against the great Michael Jordan. So he says nothing for 20 years. Somebody called him a bus, or the number one sports podcast right now, All This Smoke, the two whatchalls called him a bus, and they kind of made fun of him. Then I guess nobody knew that this dude is super funny. They didn't know he's super intelligent. He gets on, he says, or first he's because he used to be teammates with one of the guys on the thing. He sent them a thing, say, hey, I just want an apology. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got my name out here bad. I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? Want an apology. They got tough with him. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, because Matt Barnes and Stack are considered tough guys. Okay. And then he said again, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll let that slide. Just don't bring me up again. Their next podcast, they say something slick about him. So he says, okay, I'm going on this thing called YouTube, like he ain't even in about 20 minutes, and I'm putting everybody on blast. When I say he starts going off on people, he goes off on everybody. Like everybody, like the hypocrisies of them, what they did. He's about to get probably canceled. Charlamagne the God is probably gonna get canceled. Charlamagne the God probably has about a month left on the radio. Because he keeps on talking. Where the hell was I? I missed all of this. He keeps on talking about his rape case and how he raped the girl, and you know what I'm saying? And, oh man, like, and he just started talking about how all them dudes, all they do is make money off of bringing black men down. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, we had a time in the world right now where white guys really can't say much about black dudes. Then they give y'all a couple $, so y'all get on TV, and y'all the one who open it up for them to be able to say they little slick stuff afterwards. He's like, no. And he just goes after it, where you just like, he called Matt Barnes, Becky with the good hair. He calls Stack a 45-year-old gangbanger. Like, it is, he called Stephen A. Smith. Then here's the best part about it. They're all supposed to be tough guys. But Kwame is like country big and strong. So he was like, we can't go to Portland where you can have open combat and settle it that way as well. And everybody's just like, man, nobody wants that smoke. Nobody wants that smoke with dude 7 foot, 275 pounds. Nobody ain't trying to. He can move a little bit. Like, he might not be able to put a ball in the hoop, but like, and he just be telling him, he's like, come on, Becky, I'll jump on you like a trampoline. I would just be like he went from 4,000 subscribers to 500,000 in a week and a half. It's the craziest stuff ever. And he just talks about like from, if you said anything about him, it's like 20 years worth of build up.
Oh, hell no. I'm dead. He said, I am a man.
Yeah, that's what he come on say. He said, I got a 16-year-old, and y'all, he was like, I bought my mama a house at 17 on the golf course, and y'all talking about I'm a bust. So I played in the league 13 years, made $80 million, and I'm a bust.
Okay, because not you just schooled me or something. Definitely I'm gonna have to research.
Oh yeah, you just look at, just put Kwame Brown in, and you know something be like, and now like his stuff is blown up so much, he does something daily that everybody sees. Because he's a country boy.
Driving that truck.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't see clips of the truck. Him driving the truck, not even knowing the whole situation going on. Okay, I'm dead. What's good, everybody? Robin E here in the building on a brand new episode of Pillow Talk. My guest was just dropping me on some knowledge here real quick. He had to school me on something because I wasn't aware of it. So he was putting me on something quick. I got to go do some homework now when I leave. But I appreciate you for coming in the building. I have the owner here of Q's Place, Quincy.
Yeah, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
I have no problems. No problems. Life is good, I must say.
Good. You said, what did you say? You have the love for self right now?
Yeah, like, well, what you call it? You
like
gotta
that.
learn how to live with yourself.
I like that. Very, very Kama Sutra of you to say that. I like that. But no, I appreciate you for sliding on Pillow Talk podcast. So, for those that don't know, to me, and probably to a lot of other people's, Q's Place is a very prominent place here in Lake County. Are you actually from Lake County?
Oh yes, I am Zion. I literally have lived in Zion my whole entire life. Actually have the same house we grew up in. So
Oh, you still have the house?
we just kind of, it went from my parents, and then they wanted to move, and I did not want to move. So it was kind of like one of those things where I was like, I guess I'll buy the house. So
Yeah.
I ended up buying the house, and still on 28th and Gilead. Love the place.
Nice. Oh, okay. Because keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Keep it in the family. I like that. When did you buy the house? When you?
This had to be '01, so a long time ago. That kind of dates me a little bit, but like, yeah.
That's okay.
I want to say in '01, my parents, they decided they wanted to move. They wanted a little bit more land, that type of thing. So, and they were retired and stuff. They deserved it. So they ended up moving, and I was just like 21 at the time. So
Oh, damn, you bought when you was 21?
yeah, so I was like, I don't want to. At that time, I was thinking like, who wants to still live with their parents? So I was just like, I guess I'm gonna buy the house, and it was a good time at the house for a while. I must say, them.
Talking about a good time
Yeah,
for a while.
it was a good time. Like, 'cause, when it's different when you live with your parents growing up and stuff. You only have so much room that when you do finally buy a house, you realize that every room is yours, so you can do whatever. So, granted, like if I could go back, I'll like change some stuff. Like, I didn't mean to turn the living room into like a gaming room where it was pool tables and TVs and stuff in the living room, like things of that nature. Kind of turned the kitchen into like a open beer pong type stuff.
Okay.
Like it
This
was,
was the spot at
yeah,
this point.
it was, but that's when you're a little bit younger, and you're searching for that good time all the time. So like that was my first time realizing like you could actually, you know, when you be like, man, if you buy it, you can do whatever you want to with it. Used to drive my mom crazy when she came over to visit though. She'll just,
she's probably like, what is going on up here?
She was like, can I get a couch somewhere? And I just
you had the couches? What you had?
No,
the chairs?
I don't know. It was like a sports bar.
In the crib.
In the crib. I turned the living room. So. Yeah, like Jordan was all over the place at the time. Kobe, I was a big Kobe Bryant fan. Like pictures of that. It looked like you're a small version of a sports bar when you came in.
So you was already envisioning that type of persona.
I just, like it was nothing else to really do, like at the time. But I just thought about it. It was like, hey, I'd love to have a pool table in the middle of the living room. Like, why the pool table got to go in the basement? What the pool table do?
We need it up here.
Right. I want it right
lit,
here.
Though. To do that at 21, that's a big responsibility, but you knocked that out. Okay.
Nah, it wasn't too much of a responsibility. It was just, if you think about it, you got to pay rent anyway.
That's true.
So, and rent is usually what people don't understand. If you in the right place where taxes aren't killing you, rent is more than a mortgage usually.
It adds up.
Yeah, like you think right now, I'm in the middle of renting a few properties. You rent the property for more money than what your mortgage is all the time. So, well, most places that you're renting for that 13, 14, they're only paying $1,000 probably for the mortgage, because they got to make a little something, and they got to have something for when things break. So you think about that type of stuff. If you grab the right place, and granted, I wasn't taxed so much on it because it was my parents' house. So I pretty much got away with my down payment being almost close to nothing. Like I had to pay the down payment because the bank wants it, but what you can get away more when family is selling to family,
I like
if that makes
No,
sense.
that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. No, that's a nice lesson though for people to know. Definitely too at a young age. You definitely do pay more. I want a house eventually, so
Yeah.
I need to get on that.
And one of my things is my dad was like they could have moved a long time ago, but he was real big. And the reason I stay pretty much in the same community, he was real big on continue, no matter how well you do, to continue to live in the community you were raised in. So like no matter how many raises they got or how well my mom did, they still wanted to be in the same community until it was time to retire, and then once they retired and wanted a little bit more land, of course they had to go find the land to live on. But he was real big on he always wanted to be in his neighborhood. Like you buy local from the people in your neighborhood, the things like that to make your neighborhood better. Like you know your neighbors, you talk to your neighbors, those type of things. And we were raised on that, you know what I'm saying? Like we were raised on just because you do better, you don't just fly out somewhere and just be like, oh, now they go to the school or whatever. My dad's idea was, hey, everybody gonna graduate from the same school, like that type of thing.
I like that. I like that. So, have you always had a vision of wanting to have your own business then?
Uh, Not really. I grew up with the idea that uh mostly everything I did was sports. To this day, I still coach sports. I still do for a few people. I do lessons. I do individual stuff when I have time. I still, like I said, still coach in college. So
It's basketball, football.
yeah, basketball,
Okay.
basketball. I do a little football. I dabble in football a little bit, but mainly on more of the high school level, where it's more of just like building character than it is X and O's and things of that nature. Like, because football's the one sport where you're literally giving up your body, and there's so many lessons that can be learned on just being able to get a team to all be on the same page because they're giving up the ultimate sacrifice, their body, to play that sport. Some sports you can play, like for instance, basketball. If you're real good, you're real good. You can get away with some stuff. In football, ain't no getting away with it. Like it is what it is. You can be real good, you're still gonna get dinged. And like even if you're the monster that's doing all the dinging, 2 or 3 times a year, you're gonna get hit where you got to get up and say, "Man, what just happened here?"
Right.
Like, and to get people to get young men to be able to sacrifice that and still be able to give up for the team, that's a lot in just learning people, learning, and then you're giving as a coach, you're giving up your stuff. You give up a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of like during football season, you'll see those kids more than you'll see your significant other.
Mm.
So you got to think about like what kind of sacrifices the coaches make too. That's why you'll never see me really like downing coaches that don't make a lot of money,
Okay.
like high school coaches and stuff. Now I might say something, but an NBA coach, you make 3 million a year. Somebody can say something, you know what I'm saying? Like that's part of the gig. A big time college coach, you make millions a year. That's part of the gig. But I really respect the heck out of high school coaches who are giving up, time, energy, mental health. Like it's hard to go through a week of planning and everything, and then you end up losing. You feel horrible. So, like for those high school coaches, I salute them, and like no matter what their record is, I really respect what they do for like just their community and the kids that they work with.
Nice. Okay. Well, it sounds like you should be more so pursuing that than the cute place. You seem very passionate about that.
Well, I do, yeah. Like like I said, I've been as soon as I came home from as soon as I put my eye on that schooling was not gonna be me, I really made that big effort to make sure that, like just because I didn't feel like the return of school was worth the juice I was going to squeeze for the 4 years.
Okay.
Like, even to this day, even though I do coach in college, it's hard for me to tell people who a family whose income, let's just put it at 150,000 a year, which isn't bad. Like, you can make things happen if your household income is 150,000 a year. For me to tell them, let's put 120,000 in loans and grants and pulling this out, pulling that out. Let's put that towards 4 years of education, and your kid is gonna, if your kid wants to be a teacher or something like that, which is great, the return of we just spent 120,000 to make 30, 40,000 a year, that just never made sense to me. Like the return of the money that you can do after school. Now, granted, you can find cheaper schools. It's hard. You can do that type of thing, but I think it has to be looked at somewhat in the budget of, can we afford this? Because you hear it all the time. Like, people always talk about, like, man, I only did 1 year of school and I got 35,000 in student loans. We're like, well, so you didn't get a degree. You're 35 in the hole for some reason. And we're trying to scramble. And then when you try to go back and do something more affordable, that 35,000 hits you in the face again. And you end up in that circle of, so at a very early, like, I want to say my first 2 weeks in the school, I told my mom, I said, I'll pay for this semester. And she was like, no, I have money for you to go anywhere you want. Like, I've saved for this and things of that nature. I was just like, let's just put all that on hold. Whatever money you saved for me to go to school, that's yours. Do whatever you need to do. I'll come back home and, we'll figure it out from there.
Okay. So when did you open Q's Place?
Actually, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Uh, my mom, I was doing decent with just training, doing training in the suburbs, things of that, and coaching. Like, those two things were paying me enough where I was happy with where I was at and everything. And then my mom, she came home, or I went to go visit my mom, and she was just like, Q, like, you used to be a little bit more community based. I was like, yeah, I understand that. And she was like, it just doesn't seem, she didn't feel like it seemed like I did as much community stuff as I did 10 years ago. And she was like, I don't know if it's that you coach in college now, or you just don't have the time, or you're at a different place. She was like, it just seems like your coaching doesn't have the effect that it used to. And I said, that's a fair assessment. Like, I was like, life kind of hits you and things like that. So I was like, well, what would you want me to do? And she was just like, maybe, get a community team. And I was like, it seems that we have enough of that. Like, we have enough people that can tell their basketball story and that can help kids through basketball. I was like, probably from what I say from when I substitute teach and things of that nature is, I always say probably the best thing you can do as a community person is show the kids what they can do in the community. Like, it's easy to say, hey, this is what you should do. But if a kid actually sees you do it, they can put it together. Like, one of my biggest arguments at the board meetings at Zion Benton is, like, I say, I look at your staff, and if I had to ask a freshman or sophomore, African American or Hispanic kid, do they believe they could be a teacher? They would probably have to say no, because they've never been taught by African American or Hispanic. They might tell you they can be a dean. They might tell you they can be a hall monitor. they can do all the discipline stuff, but you guys don't. They don't have the representation of anybody they can look and say Mr. Such and Such. So when Q's Plus kind of came about, I wanted to make sure that I was giving at least 8 to 15 people a job
Nice.
because we need money. Kind of helps the community go around, and I wanted to do my part where kids can say, like, hey, I can be an owner of a restaurant. And I don't need to have like these special talents that sometimes that come along when you see African Americans and minorities actually become business owners. It's like, well, he was in the NBA and then he owns what you call it, or he was like, well, you can actually just be normal from 2812 in Gilead, and if you put your mind to it. Now, is it some hard work and sacrifice that come along with it? Yes, it's a lot of hard work and sacrifice. And am I blessed that I was raised by two great parents that not only were teachers, but they like showed the way of how you do things. Like my father is a very hard, stern man that will really just show you the way. Some people will say he's probably mean or probably was very, very mean. But on the other hand, I had my mom who would be more of she explains to me why he does what he does, and it makes all sense, and it all comes together, and it makes me want to listen to them. It makes me want, when they come and check me and say, when my mom checks me and say, I want you to do more community, I'm willing to listen to it because you've been explaining this stuff your whole life to me. So
That's deep. I like that though. I always love when there's another meaning to why people do stuff. I mean, obviously you have 1,000, but I didn't know you had a deep sense of community like that. Going back as far as your family.
yeah,
That's very deep.
we've been
I love
people will tell you I probably love Zion a little bit more than I should.
that. What's your favorite thing about Zion?
Yeah,
One thing.
well, the one thing that's probably my favorite thing about Zion is Pizza House.
Now you ain't never lied. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Pizza House is
I ain't gonna lie to you. I done definitely made that drive a couple times
Yeah.
for some damn pizza and them fries.
Yeah.
And when I was eating meat, that Italian beef fries
Yes,
too.
the Italian beef is great. Like I hate that now that I'm a little bit older, I have to start dieting and I can't eat it the way I used to. But man, like I get in arguments with people all the time about Pizza House having the best pizza in America.
And what?
But I argue this point all the time.
Oh, you said America.
In America, I have not been. I have not been anywhere in Chicago, and I've been everywhere. I know Chicago, no New York, no all that. You're deep. No, just give me the nice thin sausage pizza from Pizza House, and
I'm straight.
I'm good. Good with whatever you got.
You said in America. No, you ain't never lied. That pizza is good, and it's definitely some of the best pizza for me in Illinois, for sure.
Yeah. And I say that, and I'm a restaurant owner.
Okay, right, of something else. So you honest.
Yeah.
I'm messing with that.
But I must say, if it wasn't a food thing, like the one thing that I really loved about Zion and the community was it's a place called the Leisure Center, the Herman Park Leisure Center, and I believe that it's not so much a homestay like it was when I was growing up, but man, to be able to go there and on one side of the court, you had the older people playing. On the other side of the court, you had the younger, and you kind of just got your bumps and bruises by moving up the ladder of where you could play at on that court. And it was every day but Friday we played, and you knew who was good, you knew who wasn't good, like it was just everybody I felt in Zion at the time that it was open gym was literally there. And then just afterwards, everybody, it was just so peaceful, or it was just so, the younger kids, like leaving there at 9 o'clock or whatever, the older kids would make sure that everybody has somebody to walk with home, things of that nature, make sure it was just like, it gave you the feeling that the community really took care of itself. So the Herman Park Leisure Center is probably the thing growing up that I can point to, say that I love the most. It had the people who, like my brother, he used to be in this group called the Icy Rock Posse. They'll be in the back dancing and doing whatever they did, but you know, like, so they did their thing. It was very, very, like, you just knew the whole community that lived there, and just the way everybody took care of it, watched out for each other regardless. That was, I think was part of the beauty of growing up in Zion at the time I did.
I love that. I love that. Okay. I love that. I definitely had some community moments in my life growing up, just in my keeping too. So I love that. Okay, I love that. Now, Q's Place, I feel like, is known for a few things now, definitely. So you let me know if I'm wrong. I'm gonna just name what I think. You know.
Okay.
The lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, the lemon pepper wings is, I would like to say, if I'm being honest, it's a recipe out of Atlanta.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I how I explain it, when I was down in Atlanta. So backstory, what I do a lot with like recipes and things of that nature. I go a lot of places due to basketball, like AU tournaments, to traveling with the college team and things of that nature. So usually on an off day, I try to find a certain restaurants or things like that where I would like to learn how they do things. And I'll literally tell the owner, hey, you got a dishwasher for 4 hours or 5 hours, or you got a runner, or you got somebody who will deliver. And all I want to do is sit down, talk shop, talk about recipes, talk about how you do different things. So lemon pepper, the way like a lot of people up here in the north, they think lemon pepper is just sprinkle some lemon pepper seasoning that somebody made on top of chicken. Not quite the way. So I would like to say my lemon pepper comes from Magic City in Atlanta.
Nice. Okay.
So
You fancy.
I knew the chef there, and you would think like strip club, everybody come on, telling me the strip club had the best wings in town.
I hear that.
That's
I
what
see that. People go to the strip club for wings down
yeah,
there.
that's what they was telling me. So my cousin introduced me to the head chef there. They had me wash dishes for 3 or 4 hours. And then we went over the lemon pepper, like how you take the butter, you bathe it in the butter with the garlic, with the lemon pepper seasoning. And then you make sure, like they like to say down the South, fried hard. Make sure it's fried hard. And then you just run it through there, and you put the glaze of garlic over the top. There you go.
Damn.
And then so people up here who are used to, lemon pepper being put some lemon pepper seasoning on it, like you get that taste of that butter and the garlic, and there you go. And then, and then people.
When I was eating food and meat, yes, I definitely was up there. Those was fire. I love those. Okay, Magic City, I might have to pull up just for the sauce. Throw that on some carrots or something. And then you got the Long Islands.
Yes.
So what is the whole backstory with that? Because you got like an assortment of flavors to choose from.
Well, what I tried to do with the 41 different flavors, I tried to break it up into where it's almost like 41 segments of like my mood or life I was in at the time. So like it's like some of them have backstories, some of them are about people, like that type of thing. But when I was 21, and like I said, I turned that house into the party house. The first thing we did was, those sparkling spring jugs?
Sparkling spring.
Where it used to be, this will date me too, where instead of having the jug of water in your refrigerator, you had this little thing that was sparkling spring that was right next to you where they delivered. You put the water on top of the thing.
The water.
The water cool that go bloop, bloop.
Yeah.
And you have your cold water all the time. Well, me being me, I took the thing off. I canceled my water subscription, and I would just make Long Islands out of it. So like, and the funniest thing is, one of my roommates once when I was there. Parents were, her mom was very, very religious. And like some of the things she was singing, she was, oh, I need something to drink. And nobody decided to tell her that while she was.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Yeah,
No, she did
that,
not.
That sparkling spring was
She knew she smelled that.
Nah, you can't. Couldn't really because it's cold.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that gulp that she took, oh man. To this day, I might be some kind of I might be some kind of devil right now. To this day, to this day, like she was like, "Who would do that?"
I'm dead.
And then, like when people used to, you can't obviously just drink rum, tequila, vodka, and gin. Like so, I would always have my mixers over there, and I mix different things, and then that's how the 41. So I thought like that I have this restaurant. I should, since Long Island's was a big thing that I would do, I should put my moods of like, so if you kind of look at the menu and you read some of the stuff, like some people be like, oh, I remember when, or I remember this, or I remember that.
Okay. So, I like that. That's creative.
Yeah, no, I'm not too creative of a person, but I guess when it comes to alcohol.
Oh, you get crazy, dude. Huh?
No, I'm gonna say like the last 3 years owning the restaurant, I have slowed down the alcohol consumption a lot. Yeah, like here.
As much as you used to?
No, not even.
So you don't be drinking while you there?
No. Maybe if it's somebody's birthday, I'll take a shot with somebody. If I haven't seen anybody in a long time, I take a shot with them. But like, I try to stay as. You don't want to be that cliche of bar owner that becomes DUI person and drunk.
Very true. So you're not lying. You're not lying about that. No, I love that though. That's creative as hell. I like that. Definitely a slur of flavors. I've had a few in my chest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're pretty strong.
They're
pretty strong.
You like a liquor? You feel like you're a liquor connoisseur in a sense.
Yeah, no, like not more of a connoisseur. I can tell people the bad choices they're gonna make while they're doing. Like, hey, slow that down. But like,
things are gonna happen.
Yeah, like things you don't want. Like, it's about to get real. Right. Like right now, you're on drink number where you might call your baby daddy. Not gonna be good. Like I'm just saying. Like
up here, it's a problem.
No, you guys are gonna like each other tonight. That's gonna be the problem.
I'm dead. But no, Q's place is definitely a vibe. I feel like now since you have like what is it, the Taco Tuesday? Yeah,
Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday has been
up, okay, and I feel like it's definitely a good vibe though. But when you hear people come to Q's place, what's the vibe you want them to get from your establishment?
From my establishment, I want everybody to feel like they're treated like their money that they're spending is like respected. Like I respect like anybody who comes in. I don't care if you spend $1 to $200. That's important to me. Like, and it's important to me that you made the decision because there's so many other places you can go. Like that you came here to help support, or you like the food, or you like the Long Islands, or you just like the vibe that we have. And like I try not to compare things, but like I think it's a big thing to be able to have a place you can go to and you really realize that the staff and the people really appreciate you spending money there. Yeah. Like other than just like, oh, I'm here to just blah 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 blah. No, we really appreciate this. Like we appreciate your company. We appreciate the fact that you woke up today and you said, hey, let me get some Q's place. So like that's the idea I try to have with it.
I love that. Oh, okay, because it's money well spent every time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Oh, I love that. You get me up in here with it.
I try.
No, I love that. So are you like a real chef, or you just cook like sometimes?
No, I'm a real chef. Like people don't. I think sometimes because a lot of people don't know, But like, but the people who do know, they were like, no, Q actually really can cook.
Okay.
He really like everything that's on the menu. Like, I'm the executive chef. I'm the one that put it all together.
That's what I like
Things
to
of that,
hear. That's what I like to hear.
things of that nature. And if it means anything, I did take 1 year in college. Oh,
Little razzle dazzle on top.
well, I did take 1 year. The 1 year I got through, I did,
Okay, but that was probably a very good year. You probably learned a lot, though.
Yeah, truth be told, the best part about it is I didn't know I was taking the class. Like, I literally, it was one of them. This will date me again. It was one of the ones where before the internet was up and pumping real well, when you went to school, you would literally have to get in line. You have to get up.
Oh, to register?
To go register. They'll have a whole bunch of tables set up with different majors, different minors, and things, and you have to get in long lines to register. I know it's real easy for you kids who and they be mad that, oh, how did the class get full already? I hit the button first. Like, no, we literally had to physically get in a line. And I remember my one of my guys saying like, hey, you athletes, we got to have a minor too. Okay. And I'm like, oh, a minor. And so I looked up. I thought I had all my classes. I looked up and I said, which line, huh? And then I thought I seen my next wife. I was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous.
So my next wife.
So I went in and got in line behind her. I was like, let me see if this works.
Oh, hell no. So you don't want to follow her. That's how you got to
follow her. And then I get up to the thing and they're like, culinary arts. Had no idea what culinary arts was. I'm like, well, I was like, help me out. What time class did she sign up for? And then I was in an 8:30 class of introduction to culinary arts. So,
and you couldn't just leave at that. Did you get the number?
Yeah, we actually went out a few times.
Okay, all right now.
I was probably at that time. I was probably a little too. I was probably partying a little too much for her. Like, she could keep up with the first date, but like she couldn't wake up the next day and still, keep up the pace. So like it would be, how college is. So, but the majority of my cooking came from my grandma though. Like, so like if anything that I learned came from either me and my mom had a restaurant in 03 to about 2009 that I cooked in with my grandma. And growing up, I didn't go to Zion Fitton. I went to St. Joe's, and we had this thing called rotating schedule. So with the rotating schedule, it was basically, it wasn't supposed to, but for me, I thought it meant like I didn't have to be in school till 10:30 because I never missed the same class twice. You know what I mean? I never missed the same class twice. And so like since the schedule's rotating, and my grandma was one of those ladies who cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
God bless the grandma.
Yeah, like literally when she got done with breakfast, she started on lunch. And the fact that, I'm not going to school till 11 o'clock every single day. Like and other thing is my neighbor was my grandma my whole time growing up. So that was great. So we lived in one house. Right next to was my grandma. Nice. So like I would always go over there. So she would always make me help, start peeling the potatoes, separating the peas, stuff like that. So like obviously I picked up on all the stuff where I kind of know what goes with what needs to be here, what needs to be there. And she was a lady that wrote everything down. So I still have her, her cookbook with her different things with everything written down. So like I learned how to cook through that type of stuff. Then you add the fundamental stuff you learn in school and you put that together, you can at least put together some kind of menu that makes sense.
I love it. Cause shout out to grandmas, okay? Because grandmas is 30 now, it's different. Shout out to the grannies. Period. Shout out to the grannies. No, I love that though. My dad, that's actually how he learned how to cook. He's the cook. My mom, sorry mom, she don't cook. But my dad, that's how he learned. Cooking with his mother and his grandmother. And he knows how to bake and all that.
Yeah.
You snap. I love that. Well, I was asking because, we got a little trivia.
Oh.
I need to get your food expertise on some things, see whether or not it's some food worth trying, it's overhyped, or it's just played out.
Yeah, we'll do.
So, Red Lobster. Are you a fan of Red Lobster?
Not at all. I think the best thing Red Lobster has ever given to us is the episode of with Riley and with the biscuits, the cheddar baked biscuits. What's the name of that show? The Boondocks. Which, if people really look at, the Boondocks are so much on point with everything.
Everything.
Like every time I see these men at Q's place with these purses on, I just think of the episode of Riley wearing the dress and the purse. Yeah, right.
What's it called?
No. My dad would roll over in his grave and come and choke me if I ever. Yeah. I don't care how much money is in there. My dad would kill me, and he's dead. He would kill me if he ever see me with a purse on. But like, I have to realize too, it's different times, different eras. Like a lot of people who first put a purse on, probably, they probably didn't have the strongest male figure, like in the house, the way it is, because I just could not see myself walking around with a purse on, and my dad being
no for me.
Yeah.
Okay, what about seafood boils?
If done right, like what I see with the seafood boils that I don't like too much is people trying to do too much. Like, you're trying to put too much seasoning in it. You're trying to put too much of your own. Like, let the shrimp be the winner.
Okay.
Let the, you know what I'm saying? Let the corn be the winner.
Okay.
Like, let that good food that you're putting on the plate be the winner. Like I tell my cooks all the time, it's the reason I buy the expensive food. It's because that stuff's good. Like, you don't gotta cover it up. Like, I'm not gonna buy a real cheap ground beef and try to sell a burger out of it. Like, no, you buy the better ground beef. Put a little bit of seasoning on it. Not saying you don't need seasoning. Put some seasoning on it, cook it the way the customer wants it, and give it to them. They'll like it.
Okay.
Don't try to do your own mix with it.
You ain't lying. Okay. Seafood boils, they definitely fire.
Yeah.
Jerk anything. Because it's a jerk frenzy going on right now.
I think everybody loves the jerk. I love the lane of the jerk. It's just, I'm not the personal fan of the jerk, but like I get where it's at, and if it's done, when it is done right, the only issue with it is, and I feel they're paying, the jerk place is paying the time consumption. Like, so
to be done right.
Right, to be done right, it takes a lot of time, and then you have to run that fine line on how much of my time is worth. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know people who individually, if you just needed a jerk meal tomorrow, be the best thing ever. But what happens when you try to make a restaurant out of it is 150 people need a jerk meal. So how much time are you willing to put in for those 150 people to be able to have a jerk meal? That's why, like, I'm not putting any places out there or anything, because I don't care if I get bad one, I understand where you're coming from. Where I'm saying is, like, that's why it's a lot of like, hey, I had it on Monday, it was better than it was on Thursday. Because it's just the time consumption of making it. Like, I had I ordered from one of the home chefs that like sell plates and stuff, and they made me I want to say it was jerk chicken on top of some noodles. That was some of the best stuff I ever had.
Mhm.
It was like a jerk pasta salad. It was great, you know. And then I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to bring it, you know, out here, like where I do this." And I said, "How much time did it take you to make that?" He was, "Oh, I said it takes about, you know, an hour and 30 minutes." I was like, "You realize you're making this for
Mhm.
hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like that, and that's where you can that's where you can come up short, because you're gonna either be
That's right. Definitely. Yeah, I'm over the jerk and everything. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I love jerk seasoning, but right, it's time consuming. Done right, you can't get it everywhere. That's how
yeah.
I don't care about jerk. So, okay, what about key lime pie?
I've never been a fan.
I
Like,
like it.
yeah,
I just threw it in there because I wondered if anybody
yeah,
likes it. I've never met anybody that actually likes it.
that's
Somebody eating it though.
yeah. Somebody else. It's like I used to say about the Spice Girls. Hey, y'all act like y'all don't like this album. Somebody bought 10 million of it.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I definitely had a Spice Girls.
I was like, the Spice Girls
I
had to be
Spice
under
World
somebody's.
movie
Yeah.
as well, so you're right. I was one of the 10 million.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, 10 million people
I'm
bought this
dead.
album. Like, don't tell me I'm the only one
I'm dead as
that
hell.
think this is halfway decent. Like, 10 million people got this thing.
I'm dead as fuck. Okay. What about sushi?
I love it. I want to say, out of all the cultures, Japan, they got it right.
Okay.
Like, when it comes to how the Japanese cook, man, the Japanese can cook. Like, you can't think of one bad Japanese recipe. Like the way they can cook with hot, cold, and like Japan has it right when it comes to cooking. The way they can make something as simple as a ramen noodle be like some of the best things you've ever had. Like, where do they do that at? Where they can take rice.
Where do they do that?
Think about it. We're going to take rice, raw fishes, and we're going to add oils and sesame seeds and stuff, and you're going to eat it, and you're going to be like, "This is amazing." Like,
This is good.
I would probably say, out of all the cuisines, Japan is on top when it comes to cooking.
Okay.
Like,
I'm gonna have to give me some more of that food.
yeah.
Interesting. I like that. I love sushi.
Especially for you going vegan. Oh man, like they still take care of you guys. A little bit of rice, carrots.
I like mushrooms.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, they'll make
That's my beef now.
yeah, nah.
But yeah. No, I like that. Okay, school me. Last one, cheese grits.
Love it.
Are you the sugar and the grits person, or are you a salt and pepper?
I'm salt, pepper. I'm salt, pepper, and a fried egg.
Oh, okay.
But the key is though that your grits are hot enough that you make your egg sunny side up. That when you flip the egg on top of it, the grits will cook the rest of the egg, and then you stir it up. Great, you have a great little meal there.
Okay.
And then for for the New Orleans people, they'll add shrimp into it.
Yeah, I've had shrimp and grits.
Yeah, like they add shrimp.
I've just had without the egg.
Yeah,
but I've had shrimp.
The egg is a game changer.
Okay.
The egg is a
chef, master
game
chef.
changer. You gotta flip it over though to make sure that the sunny side start cooking. Wait a minute. You'll be like, man, I never had it better.
Damn, schooling me, period. I'm gonna have to try. I still eat eggs sometimes. So, okay, I like that. Well, you gave us some nice little feedback on the food. I do love red lobster though, just the pasta, so whatever. But I feel you on everything else.
See, not the cheddar biscuits.
I feel everything else. So before you go, I just wanted to ask you, because this was a topic that I saw online, and I need to know, since you're a man and you're a little older, did you see the Monique video about the bonnets?
I heard about it.
So she dropped her video, whatever, basically saying that young women shouldn't be wearing bonnets out in public. It's bad representation, whatever the case is, it may be. As a man, how do you feel about seeing women out in bonnets?
Well, it's one of those things where I agree with her to the point of, like, And Monique's at the age where she's a little bit older than me. She's at the age where it used to be a very big thing to where you did not leave the house until you were ready to leave the house. So she
But
comes
together.
from that schooling area of that, of like when you wake up, you make your bed. Nobody knew why you had to make your bed when you woke up, but you made your bed when you woke up. So she's under the thing of like, hey, you wake up, you get ready to go do what you do, so you're prepared to do what you do, and then you go do it. Now, if a girl is out in a bonnet or something, or things of that nature, she's taking it more of the side of who raised you.
Yeah.
Like you're not ready for your day. You're still trying to. It's kind of the idea of you're hustling backwards.
Okay.
You're trying to get your day done, and you never got prepared for it.
Do you feel like it's bad representation more so because it's more black women doing it? Like if white girls or Asian girls or Mexican girls were going out and buying as much as they profess black women to do it, would this even be a problem?
Um, Not the well because in that nature, see, well, one of the things that I try not to compare is just to compare like general black or general white, general Asian or general Mexican.
Mhm.
What you want to probably say is in that situation, what you want to probably say is, I say it comes to economic status.
Mhm.
Like the reason she has her bonnet on probably is because she had so much to do that she didn't have time to wrap her hair, basically.
Mhm.
Like if we're going to look at it at that nature.
Mhm.
Now, if somebody who, you know, is coming from a well-to-do spot,
Mhm.
has a nanny, has this, has that, doesn't have as much to do as somebody who's handling a lot of stuff on her own. So when you say that, like we would have to, if we're gonna compare one to the other, you have to go to a place where if you're comparing black to white, you have to go to, if you're getting one person that's not that economically along and doesn't have that help, you have to compare that to somebody on the other side who's the same. You can't compare somebody walking with a bonnet who's, got so much on their plate
Mhm.
to a rich teen in the suburbs who have nothing on their plate. So your hair better be done. Like you don't have this struggle or this thing for you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to run real quick to get this or to get that because it's already there. So like I always try to compare things. If you're gonna compare it, compare the same economic like state, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure if you know what I'm saying, like you're not gonna get if you go to neighborhoods where black families are a little bit more affluent, you're not gonna get the bonnet because they already have prepared for the day. Everything has
Mhm.
been situated and things like that. But basically, where Monique is coming from is from an older school of like, before you leave this house, you get everything done. Like you make sure the dish is done, you make sure your room is clean. Like you don't leave this house with nothing being unturned. And then when she sees that, she's thinking probably from a state of like basically who raised you? Like, why did your mama let you get out the house or what you call it? Like I remember getting prepared for school when we are going to school, and my mom would just be like braiding the kid, braiding my sister's hair, making sure everything is basically perfect before she sent her out to school. And I'm thinking like, it's just school. You know what I'm saying? But it was a real big thing to make sure that every single day my sister's hair was done. My like especially for ladies too, because it's a very older school thing where she made sure that everything was done. And then if you look at it, if you look at from where those aunties and those grandmas are coming from, they're coming from a world or of America that has never really looked out for them.
Yeah.
Like just now, you're starting to get more African American products on the shelf that you can go get, where you don't need to have like a middleman of a middleman of a middleman to get some curl grease for your hair, you know what I'm saying, or some moisturizer. Like I used to think it was crazy going into Walgreens and the black lady section was like this big to a whole, you know what I'm saying? Like so they got all that to choose from, and you guys got this green grease and and a hot comb. Like it shouldn't, you know, like so the world is just now adjusting, like we're adjusting to black women having, I ain't gonna say equal because it'll never be equal access, but access to product. And you can see, like you can see just from the growth of it on, like just like the growth of the products and how much is being spent on these products, that it was needed for years. Like I'm not a big fan of, you know, bundles and all that stuff, but you can see like it's $1 billion it's a billion dollar industry. Like so, like somebody was saying, hey, this is what we want and what we need.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we have to think about the woman's life in perspective. What could possibly she be going through in a sense for her to maybe have this bonnet on? Is what I got from all of that.
Yes, yeah. Like what you call it? It has more. Like somebody like, well, like for instance, somebody like my mom wouldn't have a bonnet on, but she comes from a different era. Now, will her daughter? Probably not, because my mom has, you know, has always made enough where it wasn't a lot of stress on her. Now, what do we say about her grandkids? Maybe like you don't know. I think it's one of the things like how guys wear do rags, you know. And for each is their own, and it's always a different avenue or a different, well, what's the word I'm looking for? A different opinion on time and place.
Okay.
I'm a big time and place guy. Like I think it's time and place for everything.
Okay.
But you know,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
and that's part of Monique trying to be one that's trying to, you know, reach down to the younger generation and trying to assess them without trying to make them embarrass them or make them mad. So she's trying to do the older representative. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So.
I appreciate that. Okay. I just wondered, you being a man and just seeing your perspective. It's such a controversial topic for whatever reason right now, and it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting.
Granted, I'll tell you this.
I appreciate that.
This will never probably happen in the history of men. Nobody's going to ever be like, you know what? Seeing Shorty with a bonnet on, can't date her no more. like that's not.
I mean, niggas.
No, I'm not even gonna call her anymore. Like, not even gonna call her. You see that bonnet she had? No, I can't even do it no more, bro. Can't even do it. She was out in the bonnet, like that's not gonna happen. So like until that type of stuff starts happening, like I tell people, I could probably, like, if I could get all women to listen to me for 2 weeks, I could probably stop like all gun violence and everything in our community. I just be like, you guys don't date anybody who might shoot somebody. Then everybody's gonna stop shooting people. Like, I ain't shooting nobody, bro. Like, I ain't got it in me, bro. like my girl gonna leave me, and like y'all can have all that. Have it completely, like.
I'm dead.
Like it.
Okay. So what else can we expect from you this year? I mean, you're still doing your basketball and your coaching as well.
Yeah.
And Q's is still open. So
yeah, Q's. Oh, basically, what I want to do. This is the idea, probably for the next. Well, what I put on, and for you guys who want to be future entrepreneurs, what I would say some of the best advice I ever had was a business plan that you update every month. Like you just keep on, so you never get stale. You never get, your ideas don't get lost. You don't lose an idea to piece back the idea when you forgot about half about it. You just keep on. You up a Word doc on whatever you, and when those ideas come, you put it in your business plan. So basically, what the idea, what I would like to do is, we will be, most likely in February, we will be changing locations. So we're gonna basically get a bigger location to house more people, things of that nature. And then once I get that up and going, I'm thinking about adding or getting into media like you are, adding a media center where, you know what I'm saying, where the media center is a base of all local advertising, to be able to reach the media people and the local people that need the local advertising, and try to put those two together and see where that go. And then after I get that going, maybe getting something up and going where it's a little bit more, because I've always tried to keep Q's Place away from the club look or the club scene, or actually to give people a nice lounge club type that they can go lay back, kick it, get home nice and safe, and everything's cool. Like, I understand, I understand how in a local area, clubs and stuff can get stale, or clubs can get, things of that nature. So just to have a local place where when you don't want to go to the city, when you don't want to go, you can come, have a good time, be chill, be comfortable, and everybody can win.
Yes, I love it. That sounds like an acceptance speech.
What am I saying?
I don't know, but I felt like I need to be talking after you said that. No, but I definitely agree with that. I'm getting to an age now where I'm definitely past making long drives to party.
Right.
I go to the city for a lot more business now, but yeah, like as far as kicking it or just having a good time, nobody want to drive an hour, 45, 50 minutes. You finna go drink, then you gotta drive. Nobody want to do all that. You want to be in 20-minute proximity.
I tell people all the time.
Shit.
I used to call it the TUI curse, where whoever driving, everybody say they're going to stay up with you until they get to TUI, and everybody's knocked out. Then it's just the driver. When you're coming home from Chicago, once you get past TUI, everybody's knocked out. You are by yourself. Yeah, you are by yourself.
No, that's dope though. I love that. So February, you're looking to have a new location.
Yes. I'm in plans to get in a new location, and so we'll see how it all goes.
Well, I'm rooting for you. Definitely need to have me up in the media realm.
Yeah. I told you we'll always talk about that. Like, it's always, like, I think this new media that you guys doing, like, this is the golden age of it, where it's like the Wild Wild West. Anything can go. Like, I've seen, like I was telling you earlier, I seen somebody go from 3,000 to 5,000 in 1 week. Subscribers, and information is everything. So.
Okay. Y'all open today? Y'all open right now? Y'all
we're open every day. We're open every day from.
Y'all gotta pull up.
You can game from 11 to 12, and then we start serving food from 12 to 11 on the weekdays. And then on the weekends, you can game from 11 a.m. to 12, and then we're 12 to 1 o'clock. Now, for everybody, because this is starting to become a little bit of an issue on Taco Tuesday, please get there early, because the kitchen is closing at 10. I can't continue to make. I can't continue to wear my staff out and my cooks out. Like, you guys gotta realize they have done thousands of tacos on Taco Tuesday because it's such a big day. The last thing they're trying to do, because somebody tries to come in at 11, is make some tacos when they've been cleaning up the thousands of tacos that they have made the whole day. Like, it makes it hard on me. It makes it hard on the cooks. It's just one of those things. So please, if the dollar tacos is what you're coming for on Taco Tuesday, please get there before 9 o'clock to get your tacos.
Get your tacos on time.
And I must say shout out to DJ Gold, because he's the one who really, set me down and said, you know what, you're selling a lot of tacos. Let's turn it up to a different level. Him and one of my servers, Lisette, they were the ones who really said, okay, let's turn this into, instead of it just being a day where you sell thousands of tacos, let's turn it to a community event where everybody's going. And I must say, Paul Adams too. He's the one who said, let's add the cars, let's have everybody come out with cars, where they come out with still outside, and
it is a vibe. It really is, though. It's live music. It's people dancing. It's drinks flowing. It's just a vibe. I love Taco Tuesday. Yeah. It's a vibe. Absolutely. Yeah, so I love it. I love it. I love it. I do have the address listed as well in the description down below. So make sure y'all check that out as well and pull up to Q's place. Get a special. Say Robin E. You saw it on the show.
I'll make sure I take care of you guys.
Look, you like, no, I'm just kidding. No, but I appreciate you for coming on. I always feel like you drop a lot of knowledge just about life in general when you talk about stuff. And I feel like you said a lot of in-depth things very quickly that people probably were like, damn, I know, especially when you start talking about the house situation. I knew then you was going to be dropping some gems. So,
well, thank you.
I appreciate you for doing that. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, make sure you subscribe to Pillow Talk Podcast, streaming on all major platforms as well as iHeartRadio. Appreciate y'all. Sending love and light. Peace out.